Now, I hope you guys have had the opportunity as YouTube channel subscribers and YouTube watchers to check out the hunting public. I'm real fans of theirs. I've enjoyed talking to them in person, on the phone. They're a great group of guys, and they have a very entertaining whitetail channel and hunting channel. They even shoot some carp here and there and do some different things too, but a great group of guys that travel around, hunt public land for whitetails and turkeys. And they've had a public land challenge. They started that, I think, last year. It was in Minnesota. And you can check it out if you go back into the October time frame. You can look at some of that, some of those videos. But they get a group of people together and hunt public land. And it's really not, there's no real winner or loser as far as what you shoot. It's more to discuss strategies and talk about time-tested, proven public land strategies. And they invited me this year to hunt in Michigan. It's lower Michigan, I can say that. But I'm not going to tell you the exact location. But there's probably a group of 15 guys, 12 to 15 guys, including them. I think Dan Infalt will be there from the Hunting Beast, Mark Kenyon from Wired to Hunt and Meat Eater, and even Johnny Eberhardt from lower Michigan hunting pressured whitetails. He might be in camp too. And there's some other people too, of course, hunting public guys. But I'm very honored to be a part of that. And there's going to be a lot of strategies going around. Discuss another video, another hunting strategy video where there's a lot of different ways to hunt depending on where you're at. There's no one certain way. Just because you're hunting public land doesn't mean you do it this way. If there's big woods, small private land tracts, marsh tracts, really depends on where you're at for what strategy you're going to use. And the strategy that I'm going with this year, and it could change when I'm there, it might even change the properties I'm hunting, but I'm really looking at some properties. I have them on Onyx map right here. I've been really scouring the countryside in the areas where we're going to be hunting in Michigan. And I am not going to show you where these are at, but I'm hoping to find some small private land tracts that are next to small public land tracts. And those public land tracts, I'd like to hunt those. I'm trying to find areas that might feature lower pressure. And I'm looking for areas that offer big feeding movements onto private land, and then feature those same movements going back into the public land tracts, small private land tracts that are hard to get to. And great opportunity to get on the back side of that cover in the morning and have those deer come back to you. Some very difficult access to get in there is all I'll say. And then in the evening to flip around and hunt those movements as they're coming back. I'm trying to develop 3 or 4 of those locations. 1 or 2 or 3 that'll really key on and look really good. I'm not going to be able to scout these other than from the air, so I'm trying to figure out how to get in and out of them. I'm looking at the habitat tops because I want to know if I can take a climber in there or if it's very brushy where we might set up a pop-up. I'm looking for big tops from the aerial photo. It means big trees. And so I'm looking at those, especially on public land, that there'll be a real good opportunity that we can use a climber in there. Dylan's coming with me to film, so we need pretty tall, straight trees. We're looking for that, or we can hunt low, brushy cover with pop-ups and maybe steps and even a hang-on stand. So we're looking for different opportunities stand-wise and being able to get in and out and hunting with quiet stands. But I'm looking for, in that public land challenge, again, looking for small tracts of public land. And now that distant food, it could be ag, it could be a neighboring property that has a lot of food plots. That's the thing nowadays. Pretty easy to look at an aerial photo and see a lot of food plots from above. But I'm looking for an area that features a lot of land where you know that they're going to feed, and it's very defined feeding with early season ag or food plots. And then I'm looking for small pockets of cover that I can come into on the downwind opposite side of the food, get in through a difficult situation, and wait for those deer to come back to me. And that also sets up that evening hunt. So we're going to have a lot of strategies going in. You have to match the strategy that you're employing on public land with the opportunity of the habitat that it presents. Whether we shoot a big buck or not is a different story, but I can't wait to be sitting in camp with those guys, with Dylan. I know we're going to have a good time. I can't wait to meet Dan Infalt. I haven't met him before. There's a lot of people in that area that, several hunters that I haven't met before. It'll be a great time. Always enjoy seeing Mark Kenyon. I'll be actually helping Mark Kenyon on his land tomorrow, designing property for the meat eater in Michigan. So we're, my wife and I, Diane, are taking off this afternoon, heading there to help Mark Kenyon out. And then I have some clients in Michigan, so we'll be there. But can't wait for the Public Land Challenge. If you haven't heard of it, I invite you to go to the Hunting Public channel. Check out those guys and see what they're all about. I've done a podcast for them. They have a great podcast too. And you know, regardless of what kind of deer are shot or not, the strategy that's going to come out of that, I think, will be second to none as far as hunting public land, whitetails, and that collection of content. We're going to have some great times around the fire, maybe a couple drinks, and we'll bring it to you after those that early October time frame. So that's my strategy, hunting those small public land tracts, trying to get in the backside in the morning. We only have a few days to hunt, so I'm not worrying about areas that I want to actually maintain and hunt those areas all season long and not spook those deer out. More one and done sits. We'll see how it goes. We'll bring a lot of fun and entertainment to you, and hopefully a lot of hunting strategy soon. And I hope you enjoy our approach in early October in Michigan, hunting public land, and I cannot wait to bring it to you very soon.